What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course. And today I got one of my colleagues, my brother from another mother. Went to the same school. We did some amazing things. But he's a little younger than me, but he was an amazing cat, pioneered an amazing clothing line back in the 90s, if you know, the African American College Alliance. I'm talking about my brother, Mr. Chris Latimer, CEO. My brother, what's good?
Up, baby? What's good?
So
what's
good,
good,
man. Finally, you know, we in the house doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? First things first, we've been talking, but I got to say it, because if I didn't say it back in school, I was proud of you then. I'm still proud of you, and the fact that you're bringing it back, and we going international, we're going to take this thing to the top, baby.
Baby, I'm proud of you too, man. I mean, that HU network is forever, you know what I'm saying?
No question, no question. So the African American College Alliance, you know, some of us know, but you got like New Jacks who going to be rocking the line that have seen it. They remember the logo, they remember the colors, but they don't know the origins of how it started.
Right.
And myself, because, you know, we was on campus, but we was all rocking it, but I never really asked you, yo, Chris, where did the concept and the idea come from? Share with my viewers now.
Well, African American College Alliance was born on May 14th, 1991. And basically what it was just kind of an answer to licensed merchandise for black schools. You know, some of the major manufacturers like Russell, you know, and even Champion back in the day made product for black colleges, but it was kind of like an afterthought. It wasn't really ours, you know.
Right.
And I mean, you know our heritage, you know HU, you know how we get down, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make this all HU, all black colleges.
Right.
But we want quality goods, you know.
Question.
So some of those thin pieces that might been sitting in the bookstore wasn't necessarily for us.
Right.
You know, so we went ahead and we made the Champion hoodie was 14 ounce, so we made a 16 ounce hoodie. You know what I'm saying? A 480 gram piece. You know that when you picked it up, you felt the weight, and you felt like all the things was coming together. Quality school, a quality product, and it was for me. It just wasn't some cheap piece that I had to buy because it was, you know, black made, and I have to accept the fact that, you know, because it was a brother that made it or a sister that made it, that I gotta, you know, step back on quality.
Right, no question.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. And I think that just came from the innate our mindset being at how it was all about quality. I mean, we walked and it was about quality. But at the same time, you know, we were all young then, and your joint was rocking. So I want to know, how'd you even get it? Because a lot of cats, you know, right now, even to this day, individuals have clothing lines. Everybody's aspiring. I got a guest coming, want to be clothing line, young people. And how'd you just decide, you know what, I want to do this? Were you always in an entrepreneur?
Yeah, no question. I mean, you know, it's kind of funny. You know, to me, it's no real magic story, but I guess people look at it as this magic story. You know, I was a promoter. You know, I used to throw big parties, used to throw parties at Howard. You know, I mean, that's how I made money when I was young. And so you meet a lot of artists because you put money in their pocket. You know, you meet a lot of people. You know, you're in a different environment than most cats our age. You know, you could walk up on Russell Simmons, you could walk up on Martin Lawrence, you could walk up on these guys. So it was funny, when the brand first started, there was no marketing budget, so I had to make it work. You know, so how was I going to do it? You know, I couldn't pay nobody, I couldn't have no spokesmodel, I couldn't do no advertisements in the source or nothing, no vibe and nothing. So I had to sell my relationships, and that's what I did. You know, I dressed Russell Simmons for the cover of Black Enterprise. That was one of my biggest placements. Russell gave me love, and he was developing Fat Farm when he gave me love. But he was wearing AACA at the end of every Def Comedy Jam.
I remember that.
You know, in that first season. And then Martin Lawrence, you know, shout out to Martin, just gave me love. He wore the product, you know. And then, you know, different worlds spawned off of Cosby shows. So it was kind of like a natural progression. You know, I just took advantage of it. I mean, I was cool with all the artists. I was a studio rat, you know, so I was running with Showbiz AG and Diamond D and, you know, Gangstar, Premier, went to Prairie View University. It was just a natural vibe. And then it was our brand, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I was walking up to a brother and saying, hey, put this on, you know, and it was some disconnect, you know? It was our brand, you know, it was our black college brand. It's African American College Alliance. It's all the schools. It's all of us. It's our kids. So it was natural, and they wore it, and they gave me love, you know, and everybody wore it, you know. But some of the funny things I used to do was, you know, back in the day, some of the video people at the record labels used to hate me because they wanted all their artists to look different. So I knew that. So if it was like, let's say November, October, and they're shooting all the videos for the big artists that are going to sell heavy in December, you know, because that's just, you know, before Thanksgiving, Black Friday,
No
that's the
question,
big sales.
no question.
Man, I fly to like 15 video sets and just dress cats, and they all have the same hoodie on. So then when the video, after they edit the videos and they premiered them, they didn't know, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But then everybody had on black colleges, and that just kind of started the momentum, man. And after that, man, I didn't even need a marketing budget.
Exactly, I remember. And when you sit here and think about it, I remember watching Martin, and I was like, yo, Chris is doing this thing, because everybody, it's almost like you were the only, you know, I mean, you had the majors, you know, Clark and I, but outside of like mainstream majors, it's like if there was a grassroots or underground on the collegiate level, it seemed like you just had that in the smash, because everybody had African American College Alliance sweatshirts, T-shirts. It seemed like you had hats. It was just, but it was a beautiful thing, and the love was there because it was one of our own doing it, and I know we were so proud. Now, how long did you have it? How long was it rocking when it started in '91? How long did it rock for?
It rocked from like 91 to about 96. You know, a couple of mistakes was made in taking the brand to the next level because, you know, we were new at this.
Right.
You know? And, you know, when the orders went from 600,000 to 6 million, it was kind of like, whoa. You know, and we didn't understand the basic rules of manufacturing goods. Right. It's not like you don't wait for the money to come in and then pay your bills. You know, you got to get a factor when you ship your goods. You need to get a payment at that time just to have the finances to keep the product going, to pay your designers, to pay people moving forward. So we made a couple of mistakes, and you know, the brand ended up kind of going a little left. You know, and you know, I just kind of moved off into other ventures and stuff, you know. But I've been very passionate about the brand, you know. So for the past 4 years, I've been like waiting for the perfect time to make it happen, and just everything, you know, it's just like being blessed, you know, everything coincided. I mean, we got a black president, you know what I'm saying? There's a new black positivity in the marketplace. You know, we feel good being around each other, whether we're the cat in the street or, you know, the cat that's at the country club. And it's just a beautiful thing. So, you know, the timing is here and it's now, and
definitely.
Now it's time to get it popping.
You know, I like it. So, you know, I love the little AACA. And, you know, and it was hot too, because, you know, you had the NCAA, you know, see the AACA, you know, it was like, you know, we had our own college thing, and I really loved that, man. But, you know, when you started it, I want to ask you, because so many people aspire to, you know, to get to a certain level of height, certain greatness, and I'm glad you dropped the signs, like, you know, some mistakes were made, but you let them know quickly what you need to do when that happens. So you need to know, if you go from 600,000, be prepared, because if somebody wants 6 million, they want it, and you got to make sure you can be able to deliver. You don't want certain things or factors to hinder your progress.
No question.
But looking back, when did you know, I always love that moment, because it's that first moment. What was that first moment you saw your sweatshirt either on a window or on somebody that bought it? What was that moment like, if you can remember that moment, that first time?
Wow. The first big joke that this thing was banging, I'd say was probably, it's kind of weird too, because it was CB4.
Oh, yeah, I remember that movie.
And, you know, I knew Chris Rock from back in the day, Brooklyn, whatever. You know, Al Payne was my man. We used to be up in the Shark Bar chilling all the time. You know, and then those two people are coming together to work on this movie that was a farce of hip hop. So it was like kind of my peoples coming together to make a joke about, you know, this whole culture that I've been a part of from the start. And, you know, so I'm on the set, and I'm just kind of like, you know, putting cats in clothes, you know, getting a little bit of love. A sister put me up on it, Robbie Reed.
Oh, okay.
You know,
major casting agent
major
right
casting
now.
sister, Hampton graduate. Plugged me with the movie and let me kind of have free reign. So when I put the goods on there, you know, it's just like you chilling with your boys. So then the funny thing is, I'm out in LA and I get invited to the premiere.
Oh, yeah, I was there too. I think I saw you there, man.
So when I walked in and sat down, you know, I'm chilling, whatever, you know, with the Hollywood types. And I sit there and I'm looking up at the screen, and it's the funniest scene in the movie. It's when Al Payne has got like this second job, and he's like this operator for this sex line or whatever. And, you know, he's talking to this cat on the phone, and it's real funny. And everybody's laughing, but just to see the product up on that big screen and knowing that this is about to be in X amount of theaters, like I think that was my revolutionary moment. That was like, you know what, cuz you made this happen without marketing dollars, but you really making this happen at that next level. And I think as, you know, African Americans, you know, we've always found a way around making things big without having the dollars
No
that,
question.
you know, the dollars that we should have accessible to us.
Truly.
You know, and to me, that was my revolutionary moment that, you know, like I stepped into that lane that our forefathers have been in, you know, since day one.
No
you know?
question,
So
no
it was
question.
a beautiful time. That was it. That was that moment.
That was that moment. I know it was a good
Yeah.
feeling. And yeah, I can't imagine, because I remember seeing it, I was like, yo, that's good. And from that moment, that's how Chris Latimer, your name always stuck, AACA. So now, you know, we in the new millennium.
Right.
You know, it's our time to shine.
No question.
And AACA is coming back. So what are we doing with the brand now? Where are we taking the brand for the next generation?
Interesting question, man. I mean, how could I describe this? What I'm trying to do now with the brand is I'm trying to never make sure it phases out. You know,
question.
this is our brand. You know, this is the product that you go to a homecoming and you must wear on the way down. You must purchase from the bookstore. You must purchase from your local store on the way out.
No
you
question.
know, it has to be a thread in our community. It's got to be ours. You know, that's the ultimate goal. But at the same time, you know, my brand has to be cool. It has to be in the street. It has to be real, you know. And that's important because I need that 13-year-old kid to be, let him be saturated with some billboards in his environment, you
Right.
know. And it might not necessarily be the right person, you know, who, you know, a general market America would think is the right person to have it on to influence a 13-year-old.
Right.
But that don't matter. You know, we've got all kinds of people that inspire us in our hood.
No question.
You know, so if the cat that might be on the wrong track is wearing my hoodie because it's cool, and the kid that's across the street that has a decision on whether he's going to make a step towards the right direction for the rest of his life or the wrong direction, and maybe he looks up to that cat on the other side of the track, if you can see the picture, it's kind of like a double message. you
Right,
know?
right.
It's like you looking at this cat because you look up to him in your hood, but at the end of the day, he's got on a Howard University hoodie. So he's kind of telling you, like, you know,
Right.
go
Don't-
on the right side of the
Don't
tracks.
do as I do.
Right.
Do as I say.
Do as I support.
Oh, as I support. Yeah, I like
Right.
that better. Don't do as I do.
Right.
Do as I support. I like
Right.
that.
So I mean, you know, we're gonna be cool. We're gonna be in the street. You know, we're gonna be very fashion forward with the brand. You know, and it's kind of crazy if I could just tell you a little story.
Definitely.
What happened to me like a couple weeks ago in Atlanta. A friend of mine's Garnett Reed. You know, I'm sure you know Garnett. Big record promotion cat. Universal. Now he's at Columbia Records. Took me to the studio to see this brother Don Cannon. You know, that I've been hearing good things about. He's down with
Okay.
that Affiliates.
Right.
You know, that whole DJ drama, that movement in the South.
Okay.
You know, yo, this is a good brother, good to link up. I'm always into meeting good brothers, you know what I'm saying? So I walk in the studio, and he's in the studio with the cool kids.
Oh, okay.
So I happen to have my hoodie on, and I'm just, you know, I'm actually going to the airport. And when I walk in the studio, the cool kids is like, yo, you know, illin'.
Right, right.
Like, oh, yo, give it to me. Yo, you got it, you know.
Right.
So those are like the leaders in this 88 hipster movement, you know, the cool kids, you know.
Right.
And they're very organic with how they get down or whatever. But to see them wide open on the brand and see it accepted by them, the retro leaders in this new movement for those young cats between 15 to 24 years old, you know, also makes me feel good about how I should definitely market the product.
No
you know.
question.
I don't need to be over the top. It doesn't need to be mass marketed, you know. I'm going to be in boutiques. I'm going to be online on my website.
Right.
The right people will find me. you
No
know?
question, no
I'm trying to
question.
be like that rare, just released 500 pieces of Jordans that the kids are looking all over the country.
Excellent.
You know.
Now, and I love it, man. I love, you know, the whole, you know, black businessman and urban businessman, because that's what it's all about. Because, you know we've done this. Our progenitors did this hundreds of years ago. You know, we
question.
had this. So it's very important. And one of the messages of the Urban Wall Street Project is definitely recognizing entrepreneurialism and importance. How important, Chris, in your opinion, is it that we become producers as more than, I should say, than we are consumers?
I mean, wow. I don't know. That is so important and so profound, you know, almost just to even evaluate what you said. I mean, you know, should we control our own destiny? I mean, that's like, you know, that's almost when brothers stepped off the slave ship. You know, it's like, you got me here, but they looking around like, yo, how am I gonna get out of here and take my people with me and get away from you, you
Right.
know? And that mentality has been forever. So right now is the golden time, you know? It's funny, when I've been around these music industry cats back in like the 80s and the 90s, you know, and they talking about, you know, we need to have our own distribution. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
As
right.
African Americans, we need to have our own distribution. We're making all the music and whatever. You know, and then when they got the dollars to do it, they never did it.
Right.
They were shook. And then, you know, and this might be my my own theory.
Right.
Then I think when we got in a position of really rocking the music industry, what did the music industry do? Sell out to iTunes.
Right. So we lost.
Twist out the paper.
Exactly.
When you finally got it together.
And that's how it is. As soon as you get this one that up, they switch the game up on
Right.
you. You know
But
what
I'm saying, like, right now, bottom line, for anybody that's trying to launch a clothing brand, you know, the opportunities are here. Like, it's all about the internet right now.
Right.
For all major corporations. What is the internet? The internet is you selling product in your crib to a cat in China.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
No question.
Then retail is in the abyss right now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a recession, so
Yeah.
people ain't spending a lot of money on products right now. The manufacturers are finding, you know, young designers to make lines right now. You know what I'm saying?
No
There's no
question.
middleman. There's no, you had to talk. You had to have some other cat in your pocket, you know what I'm saying, to launch your line. That don't exist.
Right.
If you get online, you can find manufacturers to manufacture your goods right now.
No question.
You know, but there's a couple of rules. You know, first rule, first 18 months, cuz eat ramen noodles, Rice Krispies.
No question.
You know what I'm
Let 'em know.
saying?
Let 'em understand.
Stop making the paper and trying to spend it. Even if your t-shirts is hot in the street, save every single dollar. Don't spend it for 18 months. If you got to get a day job, if you got to work at Subways and your t-shirt line made 1.5, that's all good. Don't touch that money for 18 months unless you have to.
No question.
That's the only way to leverage yourself and maintain your hunger. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
Next thing, control your own destiny. Don't let nobody that does not know anything about your market come in and tell you how to launch and brand your product. You know?
Yes, sir.
You know how you started it. Don't get in the boardroom and get confused and get twisted about your next move. You know the blood that runs through your veins that helped you be successful at this point.
Right.
You know? And you keep that going. You know what I'm saying? You listen to that voice. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're religious and in your mind that's God's voice, whether that's your inner person, whatever it is.
Right.
You listen to that voice in that direction. You do what you're supposed to do. And then the third thing is there's so many brothers and sisters in a position of power. Network. Get it popping. Get on Facebook. The world is at your fingertips, cuz.
Yes,
when
sir.
these cats was doing records back then, they couldn't access the world.
No.
Man, I joined Facebook 2 weeks ago. I got almost 600 friends. I didn't even know how to use it. You know what I'm
Really?
saying? And that's just cats like, oh, you know, I've been to your parties. I wore your clothes. I whatever. I just passed you back in the day. We went to high school
No
together.
question.
So you get 600 friends and you launch a brand. And you want to talk about viral and organic, you launch a brand. Quality brand, no matter what it is. You know, if you're a sister and you make mini skirts, and then the 600 people, your audience, starts telling their 600 people per person.
Right. Exponentially, it gets out of control.
Right.
And
you
that's
know
what
what
it's
I'm
about.
saying? And then you direct them to a retail base within the internet, and then you live and you make a product. But you got to be smart. And it's not that easy. Don't let me get it twisted. It's not that easy. There's a lot of rules to the game, but it's at your fingertips. Like, you can't sit back and wait, you know. As a people, you know, it's kind of funny sometimes, man. You've got those revolutionary brothers, you know, like the rises, you know, that kind of get us in a direction and have us wake up.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? Because they've been woken up their whole life by their parents, you know what I'm saying? And then they wake us up, you know, from being zombies.
Right.
And they take us in a direction. There's a lot of people that just feel like they got to have a dog collar around their neck and they need somebody else to pull them in some direction. And they sit at their crib with these great ideas and they don't walk on their own. You got to walk on your own.
No
Nobody's going
question.
to come in and save you.
And that's that's the point I'm making. You know, like you said, I'm glad you said it, because I don't think individuals realize the magnitude and the power literally at your fingertips
Exactly.
with Facebook, MySpace,
Exactly.
YouTube, Bling. It's a multitude of social networks. But what social networks are spending machines because those corporations, MySpace, Google, if they're not paying attention, you see what they sell for. You see those advertisers, so it's huge money. You got people, 200 million people on MySpace, 200 million people over here. So you put all that together, like you said, we have a quality brand. You don't even need a storefront on certain occasions if you have that quality and you're reaching people the right way. And I'm so glad you dropped those pointers. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. And I'm just so happy to be able to showcase it. Now I want to ask you, what's one of the things that you see? You've been in designing and you've been doing this thing for a minute, so you have the knowledge. What's some mistakes? And we talked about what's some of the one mistake you think a lot of maybe upstarts and new people make.
The first mistake is that you're always trying to deal before you have a brand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got a little something that's popping, a little T-shirt line. You might have made $100,000, but you're already trying to cut a deal with somebody. You're already trying to give somebody 20, 30, 40% of your company, It's kind of like those record label deals back in the day.
Right.
You know how the cat, he started rapping, but he ain't had no money for studio time.
Right.
So for $500, he gave a cat half of his publishing and his production. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
Then when he launched a major deal, now he's making $10 million. He really making $5 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The key is like, everything is at your disposal. You have to learn, how to run a company the right way. Educate yourself on those things. But I see a lot of people, the one mistake that a lot of people do is they make deals before they even have a brand, before it even gets to the next level. And that happens everywhere. It's funny in the industry because people are coming at you from 1,000 angles.
Right.
The guy that makes the tees sees you coming, first you bought 10,000 tees, now you come buy 100,000 tees. He's trying to figure out what you're doing so he can get in your pocket. The printer. You printing your goods, printing. He sees the volume change or whatever. Now he's trying to get in your pocket.
Right.
The store you're selling at, that cat seeing you making progress and you're in a couple of stores and his competitors, he's trying to get in your pocket.
No question.
At the end of the day, man, just hold your ground, right? Hold your position and wait. You know what I'm saying? And the same inner voice that made you make this brand, how God guided you to start this brand, at the same time, He's going to guide you when to make that deal. He's going to guide you when to press that button, and you're going to know when.
And that's real and I like that analogy because that's real with publishing. A lot of folks will sell up their publishing and not realize it. And I learned that earlier, being a songwriter, like, if you don't need the money, I mean, if you're in dire straits, hold out. Now, if you're hanging by a noose, then you got to do what you got to do. But like you said, it's very important. You want to maintain as much of that creative control as possible because once you lose it, it's so hard to get back. And I'm glad you said it. People need to realize everybody's going to get in your pocket. Now, how about trust? Is everybody your friend in the business, Chris?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, it's funny because being in the business, being in any business, it's incredible how your pool of friends grow with your wealth and your exposure and your what have you. You know what I'm saying? I love the place I'm in right now before this AACA brand is about to launch, My circle is my circle. I've learned that. I'm not going to go outside of my circle, I like to meet new acquaintances, but I'm not going to meet new friends. I think I got my friend base,
No question.
So with that being said, I mean, from a trust perspective, trust is a funny word, document everything. If a cat's having a conversation with you, have it online.
Right.
Yo, you want to talk to me? Holler at me online. No phone call conversations when it comes to business. Let's all lay it out. Let's see what it is.
Definitely.
You could be very emotional with a phone call. You could be very emotional at dinner. But when you put those words, you type that text back and forth, I know what you're saying. I know what you mean. It's very direct.
That's right.
It ain't, I made a mistake. No, you press enter. There ain't no room for a mistake. You read it 3 times and you sent it. You knew what you meant.
Exactly.
So the trust factor is funny. I mean, you just got to, apply your life lessons to who you trust.
No question, man. No question. My people out there, I know you enjoyed it. There's a lot of positive things going on. Understand when you're starting your own line, you're starting your own business, listen to the words of my brother Chris Latimer. He's been there, he's done it, and he dropped a lot of science. You got to trust yourself. You got to stick to your grind. You got to stick to your laws, maintain your integrity and your dignity. Be patient. Patience truly is a virtue because the longer you hold out, the bigger the deal. If somebody offers you a deal right off the top and you snatch it, then it kind of takes away from the value what you're offering. But when if somebody offers you 10 million, it's probably worth 20 million. Hold out, because somebody else will be coming. I want to thank my guest, Mr. Christian Malata, for coming through, checking it out. AACA, African American College Alliance, is coming back to you, so be on the lookout. I want to let you know the Urban Wall Street Project is, of course, continuing to build things and developing this Urban Wall Street Project Business Club. So check out urbanwallstreet.biz if you're really ready to put yourself in position to change your life and join the Urban Wall Street Project Club, because we're doing something on a national level and an international level. You want to be a part of a team. You know what I'm saying? In the 80s, you had the Bulls, you had the Knicks. All the players are getting multi-million-dollar contracts. Everybody would prefer to be on the Bulls as opposed to the Knicks. Why? Nothing against my brothers from New York, but everybody wanted to win a championship. You want to win a championship, you need a championship caliber team. You've been watching the Urban Wall Street Project. Check out the young producers at youngproducers.tv. Our kids, our youth are doing some amazing thing. We can bring it to your school too. Urban Wall Street Project Black College Tour coming up in '09. So keep your eyes out, keep your ears locked to the streets, because it's going down. Like I always say, keep your head up, be mindful, stay prosperous, be positive. Till next time, peace.